Hi there, my name is Ben Titus. I'm a bassist out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and this is my Skjold Drakkar 6 custom bass built by Pete Skjold at Skjold Design Guitars. This video is going to be a breakdown of this particular instrument, what all went into it in terms of the build, what electronics and things are in it, and what this bass is capable of, because I truly believe this bass can fit into basically any setting you could possibly put it into. So I just want to walk you through the build on what all is entailed with this, and then I'll walk you through the rest. As for the top, it is a spalted maple that's actually got a little bit of flame in it, depending on the angle that you look at it. Cool thing about that is, in perusing all of Pete's shelves, I found this piece of spalt and was like, this would be perfect. The only issue is when it came off the shelf, it was about that thick, less than a ½ inch. And the trick with working with a top wood like that is once you sand it down and get it finished and fully smooth and have done everything you need to do to prep it, you'd end up taking a lot of wood away. So Pete was pretty concerned that it would become so thin it wouldn't be usable. His solution to that was to actually create a layer here of wood, layers of different wood. So what this section here looks like it's body binding, it's not. It's actually all wood. The spalted maple's on the top, then a veneer layer, then another layer of maple, then another veneer, and then that goes straight to the swamp ash body on the back. Swamp ash body really helps those low mids speak, as does the electronics package, which I'll go into in a second. The neck itself is pretty simple, single piece, quarter sawn maple, nothing fancy. The tuners are just hip shots. As for the fingerboard, it is a bird's eye maple, which I was not expecting. Pete put it on there and told me about it later, and I looked at it and it was just perfect. The frets that are in it are the Evo Gold frets that Pete installs in all of his instruments. And these are wonderful because they don't wear out. That's a claim that Pete's got on his website, and I've played a lot of his older basses, and I'm not talking ones that hang on walls. I'm talking about ones that players take out and play day in, day out. And no wear, nothing. So it's a real testament to the build quality of it. In terms of back here on the electronics side, these two knobs are the usual suspects. You've got volume and you've got your blend between the two pickups, which I will describe in a moment. Tone is, just your standard tone, except it's push-pull for active and passive. And unlike a lot of basses on the market that have an active-passive switch, when this is in passive, the tone actually does something. That is not something that is present on a lot of instruments that have active passive switch. Most of the time that's you can get a passive tone, but the rest of the coloration or adjustments you need to make are done on the amp or on a pedal board. I'm a person who likes to set it and forget it when it comes to this stuff and do all of my adjustments here. So this is incredible. Also incredible is the fact that if I have a battery go down, which thankfully I've only had happen a couple of times ever, but if I have a battery go down, I'm not scrambling to change a battery in the middle of it, nor am I having to put up with a tone that is not functional for what I'm trying to do. This tone control gives me enough that I can get a tone that works for whatever song or whatever style I'm playing at the time. And then on a set break, reach in, switch the battery out, life is easy. These two controls down here are both stacked. The first one is a stacked treble and bass. I'll go into what those do in a second because they're a little bit different from your standard. And then this stack pot is mid controls. So cut and boost, as well as frequency selection. So this is sweepable. And as I'll go into a little bit later, these controls, the treble, the bass, and the mid, what they or how they interact with the sound is all customizable inside the cavity, just with little turn wheels. Makes it really nice. The pickups, and I do say pickups plural because there are two of them, and they're in this ebonite enclosure that Pete had designed to be as a finger ramp. Those of you that aren't familiar with what a ramp does, it's under your fingers and it kind of keeps you from digging in too hard, so it actually makes you play a little bit faster, at least in my opinion and my practice. It makes me play a little bit lighter, so I play a little bit faster, and it just helps everything feel consistent. What a lot of ramps end up being that aren't this is a thin strip of wood in between the two flats. Say you've got two flat Bartolini soap bars in there, and you've got a flat piece of wood in there as your ramp. So what you end up with is response on your high strings and on your low strings. That's pretty nice. You know, you're playing, your fingers hitting the ramp. It's keeping you from doing that. But on your middle strings, it's not the same. The ramp might as well not be there. And it's because that is flat, like this, versus the strings, which are radiused with the fingerboard, like this. This ramp is designed with a radius in it to match the strings. So I've got even response across all of the strings, and I can adjust how high or low the ramp is this way and this way. So it really makes for great flexibility. The last part of this is the bridge. It's a brass bridge, despite the fact that it's black, and it has adjustable string spacing width. So this is adjustable from, I believe, 17 and a half all the way out to a Fender wide 19 millimeter.